Hello everyone, this is Paukshte Fashion Workshop. I remind you that we post new videos every day. I also want to remind you that two of our courses are available at the moment: 10 measurement cutting system and how to make a bomber jacket. Today we're going to show you how to make such sleeves with the frills and the cuffs at the bottom. We've already showed you this blouse. We're going to make a sleeve of the light fabric. This is a basic pattern for the sleeve. We want the frill to be only at the bottom, not on the sleeve cap. To make such sleeves, we need to cut the pattern into approximately equal sections, not cutting through the sleeve cap. Spread the sections apart to make the frill. This is the easiest way to make such sleeves. The design depends on the fabric softness and on how far apart you spread the pieces. You can, for example, sew a sheath dress with beige sleeves. Such dress would look amazing. In my case, an average distance between the sections is 3 cm. Make sure that the center sleeve is placed right on the lengthwise grain. I'll pin the pattern to the fabric and cut it right away. Do not forget about 1 cm seam allowance for all edges. Be sure to mark the center sleeve. And the front side. Do it by making small notches. Next, we're going to show you how to make the cuffs. Natalie will help me do it. To make a cuff, you need to measure the arm circumference and loosen it slightly to make it comfortable. Do not place the tape too tight. 25 cm, perfect. The cuff should be cut on the lengthwise grain. In our case, the modeling fabric stretches in all directions. For it not to stretch too much, we need to cut it on the lengthwise grain. We are also going to double it with the interfacing material. The length of the cuff is 25 cm. Do not forget about the seam allowance. 5 mm would be enough. You can make cuffs of any width you want. In our case, it's 2 cm. So the cut details should be 5.5 cm wide. 2 cm for the right side, 2 cm for the wrong side, and the seam allowances. I think that 7 mm would be perfect. The width and the length of the cuff may be different. We just show you the techniques. Just remember that you need to cut 2 layers, both for the sleeve and the cuff. You should also remember that you're going to make 2 sleeves. Next, we need to cut the interfacing material. It should also be cut on the grain. If your fabric is strong, you can use thin interfacing material. Attach it in any case. It is a must. In this blouse, the bodies were doubled with silk, and the cuffs were doubled with silk first, and then with the thin interfacing material. Let's go to the ironing desk. Natalie is attaching the interfacing material with an iron. When you double the cuffs, cut all the extra pieces from the edges. When you do it, fold the seam allowance and press it. I remind you that you should cut 2 layers of fabric. Be very careful and attentive. Natalie has folded and ironed the seam allowance. Watch the way she's doing it. It's important to do it right away. The width of the seam allowance is 7 mm. Next, we need to fold the cuff in half and iron it. Do not forget about the seam allowance when doing it. Such preparatory work is very important. It makes the further work much easier. We can start stitching now. Take out the pins. Detach the pattern. We can start stitching the details now. The width of the seam is 1 cm. Make a back stitch at the beginning and the end of the seam. As I've already said, the width of the seam is 1 cm. Natalie is stitching the underarm seam. When it's done, she'll show you how to stitch the cuff to the sleeve. Let's stitch the edges of the cuff. The width of the seam is 5 mm. Do not forget to make the back stitches in the beginning and the end of the seam. The underarm seam is stitched. We're going to edge it with the novel locker off the camera. Natalie is ironing the edge seam. She's going to press it close. Be very careful and attentive when ironing the details from the right side. Next, we need to press the stitch seam in the cuff open. Be very careful. The seam is tiny. Do not forget to cut the extra pieces from the seam. It should be thin and soft. Everything should be neat. Tiny accurate seams, perfect details. When the seam is pressed as needed, iron the cuff once again. You can make such sleeves of any fabric you like. That's all for today. Today we've showed you the preparatory work. Next time we're going to show you how to gather the sleeve at the bottom and how to attach the cuff to it. We're Ira and Natalie. Be different and beautiful. Subscribe to this channel. We would really appreciate your support. Thank you. Goodbye.